Time downtown Seattle, and one of the loudest group of fans you'll find anywhere in the land, set to welcome the Seahawks onto Quest Field. Seattle, San Francisco for Monday Night Football, and we bid you good evening from the great Northwest. Mike Tirico, so glad you're on board as we wrap up Week 10 of the NFL season. San Francisco's lost 6 in a row. They lost to this team 6 weeks ago. Tough place to play. It's a tough ask for the 49ers already going into tonight, but that difficulty seen through a bit of a different prism. As you probably know, Dick Nolan, the dad of Mike Nolan, the current head coach of the 49ers, passed away yesterday. Dick was the head coach of the Niners from 1968 through 1975. Mike got the chance to say goodbye to his dad, who passed away from prostate cancer, also suffering from Alzheimer's disease. He did that Friday and Saturday, leaving the team, returned to the team, but then told them when they arrived here in Seattle yesterday of his dad's passing. He'll go on later in the week to go with the family funeral arrangements. Needless to say, we add our condolences to the Nolan family and everyone in the National Football League touched by a classy former head coach and player in Dick Nolan. All right, Ron Jaworski and Tony Kornheiser. The business at hand tonight here in Seattle, guys. The 49ers are 2-6. They're struggling, but one good thing, they get back perhaps their best offensive player and running back, Frank Gore.
And if they're going to win tonight's game, it's going to have to be a Frank Gore night. They must run their offense through Frank Gore. He must be the bell cow. You look back to last season when the 49ers beat the Seahawks twice, it was Frank Gore rushing for 144 yards and 212 yards respectively in those two games. Also, when you have a young quarterback struggling like Alex Smith, hey, the quarterback's best friend is that running game. Frank Gore can keep Alex Smith out of trouble by keeping the offense on schedule.
All right, Seattle disappointing, even though division leader at 4-4. Sean Alexander's out. He hurt his leg against Cleveland last week. That means Matt Hasselbeck, show me what you got.
Yeah, it's amazing. Here we are, game 9 for the Seattle Seahawks, and Mike Holland said, you know what, we're going to be more aggressive with the passing game. We're going to abandon the run. We tried that running thing. That's over. We're going to get after it with the pass game. Of course, with no Sean Alexander, you have Mo Morris in the backfield. He is an excellent receiver. I think you'll see the short passing game from the Seahawks tonight.
So a lot of Hasselbeck for Holmgren, a couple of familiar names, Tony, in the football fabric of this great city that has so many nationally known names.
That's right, Mike. 4 of the great American companies originated in Seattle: Starbucks, Nordstrom's, Microsoft, and Boeing. So whenever you go to Seattle, you know you can get a cup of coffee, a pair of shoes, some software for your laptop, and an aisle seat, and that's comfort to many. Maybe that's how the Seahawks sold Seattle to Mike Holmgren when he jumped here from Green Bay 9 seasons ago. He showed up with a Super Bowl trophy in his luggage and a pretty impressive offensive teaching resume that included stints with a Mr. Joe Montana and a Mr. Brett Favre. In Seattle, the professorial Holmgren soon started coaching up Matt Hasselbeck and Sean Alexander. And 2 seasons ago, they got to the Super Bowl. Had they won, Holmgren would have become the first coach to win Super Bowls with 2 different teams, a sure Hall of Fame ticket. But Pittsburgh won, and Bill Cowher's chin and flying spittle became more celebrated than Holmgren's glasses and girth. Ever since, the Seahawks have been gradually flattening out. like a seat cushion that a nose tackle has sat on. The Hall of Fame for Holmgren, though, is worth mentioning. His overall record of 151-97 carries a better winning percentage than Bill Parcells, Tom Landry, Chuck Noll, Marv Levy, and the aforementioned Cowher. At home in the regular season, Holmgren is spectacular. He's 95-29, and oh yeah, he's home tonight. And after the game here in Seattle, he can get all the coffee and shoes he needs.
Those are the constants, but their team has not been a constant this year. Why the consistency problems? And the problems for Alex Smith from the sideline. Next. Finishing on ESPN HD, presented by DLP HD TV, as we take you over the top of the Space Needle down to the sidelines here at Quest Field. Michelle Tafoya in a second on the Seahawks. First, Susie Colbert on the 49ers struggling quarterback. Suze?
Well, Mike, here's the question for Alex Smith. Should he have short-term memory or draw confidence from the past? In the first meeting against Seattle this season, September 30th, Smith was knocked out of the game. On just the third play, he suffered a separated shoulder. He missed the next two. And you got the feeling that he wasn't really ready to return on October 28th against the Saints, but felt pressure to play and was banged up again. Last week, in a loss to Atlanta, 3 interceptions, 0 touchdowns, he told us he was still compensating on mechanics, pushing the ball instead of throwing, which made him inaccurate. Somehow, he emerged upbeat and says this week, for the first time in ages, he practiced all week and made all his throws. And here's where the long-term memory kicks in. Smith and the Niners won here last year in perhaps the best performance of his young career. And it was in the rain and the wind. Michelle?
Well, Susie, just 2 years removed from their Super Bowl season, the Seahawks are mired in a mediocre 4-4 season. Ask anyone on the roster why, and they'll all say inconsistency. Ask them why they're inconsistent, and they'll say, hard to pinpoint, or it's a bunch of little things. Enter Jim Mora, assistant head coach and fiery motivator. To underscore the importance of consistency, he showed the team a tape of Tiger Woods being interviewed on 60 Minutes. One quote in particular, when asked what separates the great from the very good, Woods responded, being able to repeat it again and again and again. So that's the mindset the Seahawks want. Do things well again and again, and we can meet our expectations, Mike.
And they'll put a lot of that on Matt Hasselbeck, Michelle, as we check our All-Tale head-to-head. Hasselbeck makes career start number 89 of his career. Former #1 pick Alex Smith, his 30th. The Seattle kickoff tradition, next.
ESPN welcomes you to the following presentation of the National Football League.
Live here in Seattle, that is Drew Carey, who had his show on ABC for a long time, now hosts The Price is Right. Huge sports fan. He's going to be a part of the MLS franchise that will be officially announced, an expansion franchise that will be introduced tomorrow here. But he is raising the 12th man flag. Number 12 is retired by this franchise. For the fans who made the Kingdome one of the loudest places to play in all of sports, and have continued that tradition here on the old site of the Kingdome, Quest Field. A VIP raises the 12 to the top and raises the volume here in downtown. 12th man, Schmelth man. Niners won here last year. Mike Holmgren's team is 4-4, top the division. We'll see Drew in the booth a little bit later on. San Francisco 2-6, trying to get back in the division race.
Has anybody mentioned that that's a good look for Drew Carey, those glasses? That might get him on TV, don't you think?
Off we go from Seattle, and Maurice Hicks, the opening kickoff return, hit hard at the 30-yard line by Benny Jompru, a tight end. So here comes Alex Smith, as mentioned, former #1 overall pick. Alex, very young, age 23. We have a flag here. No flag on the kickoff, I beg your pardon. Alex is 23, #1 overall pick of 05. Played at Utah in the shotgun system. His biggest headache thus far has been the lack of consistency. 3 different offensive coordinators, 3 years. When he played against Seattle earlier this year, separated his shoulder.
And Mike, this offense is very basic. They line up and they play. Very little motion, very little formation variation.
Drive will start from the 31. Frank Gore back in the game. Smith, the first pass. going deep downfield for Darrell Jackson, the former Seahawk. Could not pull it in, but you saw the marker come down as Marcus Trufant covered his former teammate. So an opening deep shot on an offense that has not taken many deep shots this season. Larry Nemmer's our referee tonight.
There's no foul for illegal contact. The quarterback rolled out of the pocket. The ruling is incomplete. Second down.
Jaws, do you like how the way San Francisco started tonight?
I love the start of the game. They went maximum protection. You know, they were going to give Alex Smith time in the pocket. Let Darrell Jackson work down the field. You'll see the play action. He's going to boot out to his right. And there's no question, this play was designed to get the big play. Here's where they're looking, right there. They want to get the big play against Marcus Trufant. They were not able to get it, but I love the fact they came out aggressive.
Delaney Walker, an extra tight end, is in. 2nd and 10. First run, Gore coming back off a sprained right ankle. 3 to the 34. Kevin Bentley was in for Leroy Hill, and Lofa Tatupu with the tackle. Gore did not play against Atlanta. Sprained right ankle. 79 yards in the first meeting between these teams earlier this year. Won handily by the Seahawks.
Those are the two guys, Alex Smith and Frank Gore, who this team thought would lead them not just to a winning season, but maybe win the division and certainly a playoff team. They banked on them. They are both having bad years.
Ashley Lalee's third receiver, bottom of the screen. Smith goes the other way, and a high throw is incomplete. He was being pushed down by the pressure as he was throwing. Josh Wilson helped bring some defensive back heat, punted away.
You know, Mike, as I studied Alex Smith this season, he has had a problem with his accuracy. He locks that left knee, forces the shoulders to come up, and throws the ball high. We saw it there on the second pass of the game. An errant throw, the ball sailing high. I believe that's a problem he must correct to be a consistent and accurate NFL quarterback.
Burleson's been great this year, so too is the punter, Andy Lee. It's going to be a good matchup. 52-yard kick. Burleson with no room to breathe is brought down at the 16-yard line. Very well covered by Brian Gilmore of the 49ers. So Matt Hasselbeck comes out, remember drafted by Green Bay, traded from Green Bay over here to Seattle. He backed up Brett Favre for a few years. He and Mike Holmgren have had a decade-long relationship going back to the Packer days, and they've really hit it off here in Seattle as he took them to the Super Bowl a couple of years ago with a Pro Bowl season.
Seahawks start out empty, Mike, very aggressive.
Trouble on the snap out of the gun, and Hasselbeck throws. It's hung on to by Bobby Ingram for a first down at the 32-yard line in front of Derek Smith.
And the Seahawks are a team normally that does not play out of the shotgun formation. They're lined up empty. In other words, no back in the backfield. They spread the field, very aggressive approach. Branch on the sideline, Deion Branch, wide receiver.
Alexander right next to him.
There's some players right there, not on the field.
Deion Branch inactive, missing his 4th game with a sprained foot. Alexander, left knee and ankle sprains last week against Cleveland. So a lot of throws tonight. DJ Hackett shown the sideline for 36 by Marcus Hudson, the 5th defensive back in.
Excellent job by the Seahawks offensive line and backs picking up the blitz. It was man-to-man coverage. They came with the blitz. Hasselbeck did a nice job of understanding his protection scheme. Knew he had one-on-one to the outside. And you'll see the great pickup by Mo Morris, number 20, does a great job picking up the blitz, giving Hasselbeck time.
The gain was 4, 2nd and 6. Seattle was out of the huddle quick, and when Mike Holmgren's teams do that, usually they're in a good rhythm. Maurice Morris couldn't get away from Patrick Willis, the first-round draft pick linebacker. Before 3rd down, Bobby Ingram introduces us to the Seattle offense.
The Seahawks offensive foundation starts up front with our big O-line. At left tackle, the perennial All-Pro Walter Jones. At right guard, the 15-year vet Chris Gray. Moving to the backs and receivers, under center, our leader, Matthew Hasselbeck, who will be throwing the ball a lot to myself and fellow wideouts, big play DJ Hackett, Nate Burleson, and Marcus Pollard holding it down the tight end.
3 wide receivers on 3rd down. Deep drop by Hasselbeck. Was it scooped up? by Burleson. They say incomplete. No catch by Burleson. It will be 4th down.
An excellent job by Patrick Willis, the linebacker. He got a really good bump, and that really was the key. As you see right here, did he make the catch or not?
It does rub the ground, but he does have control of the ball as he's coming down to the ground, and the players encouraging Mike Holmgren to challenge it. They're now looking at the big screen here, and Holmgren will challenge. There's one more look at it. On the front side, it looked like it did make contact with the ground, but there was control there most of the way. So Holmgren will challenge, will step out as Larry Nemmers looks at replay.
Last season, Reggie Bush burst onto the NFL scene and set a rookie record for most receptions by a running back in a season with 88. Known for his speed and quickness, Bush accumulated over 1,500 yards of total offense. In 2006, number 25 was the only player in the NFL to score a touchdown rushing, receiving, and by punt return. The 2007 season may not be as easy for Bush, as teams will be better prepared for him.
I'll trade you a Red Sox home jersey and a Rangers t-shirt for that Pirates jacket. No way! I want that Cardinals hoodie and that Braves away uniform and an item to be named later. You drive a hard bargain.
Majestic Athletic, the official uniform supplier for all 30 Major League Baseball teams. Available now all over Europe at nesn.com.
Pardon the interruption, but starting today, we're back on the air in Europe.
The guys at PTI are on board to enlighten us on the lighter side of American sports.
A certain, how do the French say, I don't know what?
What means I don't know what. They even embrace European culture. Well, at least they're gonna try.
Today? How did they say that in England, Mike?
No guess today, Maurice.
I guess that was very southern Britain. Good night, Europe. Here's the flags and the nation.
Pardon the interruption. Catch Mike and Tony exclusively here on NASN.
ESPN's Monday Night Football is brought to you by refreshingly smooth Bud Light, always worth it. The 7-passenger Mazda CX-9, winner of the 2008 Motor Trend Sport Utility of the Year. Circuit City, for the hottest new technology, think Circuit City. And Capital One, what's in your wallet?
The landmark of Seattle, the Space Needle. Saw a picture going above it earlier. You can go up into the Space Needle and eat dinner, and it's a look down at Quest Field, and Larry Nemmers is under the hood, under the roof of Quest Field, reviewing the catch or no catch play by Nate Burleson. Here's another look at it.
You must have control of the football. Now, the ball can touch the ground as long as you have control of it. Boy, that is a really close one.
Okay, well, what do you think it's going to be?
I don't think there's conclusive evidence. I believe it will stay incomplete.
And the ruling on the field was incomplete, but we see Mike Holmgren out of the gate doing what he said in public he would do this week, come out and throw the ball.
On a lot of levels, this is a referendum on the old style of Seahawks football that got them to the Super Bowl, which was run first with Sean Alexander. Sean Alexander 2 years ago had 27 touchdowns. This year so far he has 2. He used to average 5 yards a carry. This year 3.3. And so Holmgren has gone away from that, and he's going to fling it.
All right, let's see what Nemmers will review the play with his final decision.
After reviewing the play, the ruling on the field is a complete catch. The receiver had his hands under the ball. The ball did hit the ground, but he had control of the ball at the time. Therefore, it's a catch. It'll be 1st and 10 for Seattle on the 48-yard line. Seattle will not be charged with a timeout.
And they can earn a 3rd challenge. You only get 2 a game. You can earn a 3rd one if the 2nd challenge they happen to use is successful.
But doesn't Jaws lose a timeout for that? Isn't that the way that works?
Yes.
We put you on the spot, you get it wrong, you lose a timeout.
I make one mistake, you jump all over me. All right, I lose a timeout.
So the Seahawks maintain the drive and move into San Francisco territory at the 48. And on play action, right back to the air is Hasselbeck. Little high for Burleson, the second leading receiver in terms of catches. And it's incomplete. So, Jaws, when Mike Holmgren comes out and throws out the news that could have been a smokescreen, we're going to throw it a lot, and then comes out and throws it a lot. Does that surprise you?
Yes, it does, quite a bit. In fact, I spoke to Matt Hasselbeck before the game, and he was kind of surprised that his coach said, we've tried to force the run, that's over. We're coming out, we're going to throw it, and that's exactly what they're doing.
From the 48, play 6 is pass 5. It's a completion. DJ Hackett first down, 36-yard line, a gain of a dozen. And let's see what Nate Clements has to say about the other guys on defense trying to stop Seattle.
Up front, we have 14-year veteran, the Godfather, Brian Young, Abreu Franklin, Marcus Douglas. Moving on to the linebacker core, we have Tully Bantakane, Paris Harrelson, Derek Smith, and P. Diddy, Patrick Willis. Moving on to the secondary, hard-hitting safeties, Michael Lewis, Mark Roman, opposite of lockdown, Walt Harris, and we know him as Uncle Walt.
Opposite of lockdown, that's referring to yourself by your nickname. Hasselbeck, look deep, covered. Plenty of time. Coming open is Burleson. Busy half. Stopped at the 16 by Michael Lewis. It's a first down gain of 20 for Seattle.
Let me get to you, Jaws, because you said you're very surprised that Holmgren would do this and say it publicly. This is the offense he grew up in. He learned this from Bill Walsh. He's had guys like Joe Montana and Brett Favre, and he probably got to the point where he said, I'm tired of second and long. I'm tired of this. We're going back to what I know best and I like best with a quarterback that I have trained at 2 different spots, Matt Hasselbeck.
I agree with you. They were inefficient on first down. There's no question. They were averaging 3.5 per rush. He's going to do what he does best. That's throw the football.
Flushed out of there. Morris on the screen. Got a decent block, but is eaten up by Jeff Obert, the backup linebacker.
Now the key is you have to have a quarterback. As you mentioned, he had a Joe Montana or Brett Favre. He said he's going to put it on Matt Hasselbeck's shoulders. That's the key. You have to have a quarterback that can run the passing game like Matt Hasselbeck can run it. You see right here, look at this. 1 rush, 7 passes on their first drive.
But look at Hasselbeck's stats this year. 15 touchdowns, only 7 interceptions. He's the best player Holmgren has on offense. Why not put it on him? They're going straight down the field.
I'm on board with it. And don't forget this, Max Strong is their blocking fullback. He retired a few weeks ago. You now have Leonard Weaver, a receiving fullback.
Hasselbeck throws for Morris at the goal line. Incomplete. Mark Roman was waiting for him, and Michael Lewis in on the coverage. Third down coming up.
But excellent job of spreading the field. And Mo Morris is an outstanding receiver as a back coming out of the backfield. There, the Seahawks lined him up wide. They got the matchup against the safety, Michael Lewis, but Mark Roman does a nice job of coming over the top and breaking it up.
Are they helped that Sean Alexander is not playing this game tonight because they can throw to other backs out of the backfield?
Yes, I believe that is correct, Tony. I said Mo Morris, Leonard Weaver are excellent receiving backs. Sean Alexander is a good running back, a great running back.
Hasselbeck throws for Will Heller, the tight end who caught it. Only gained 2 yards, but a penalty marker down. Paris Harrelson, who was a college defensive end, now plays backer, hit Hasselbeck, and this could keep the drive alive.
Personal foul. Roughing the passer, helmet to helmet. 98 of the defense. Will go half the distance from the end of the catch. First down.
As we watch this helmet-to-helmet contact, it was interesting to point out that there was a ruling sent out, just a clarification, from Mike Pereira, the head of NFL officials, to all 32 teams this week, reminding teams that referees and officials can eject players for flagrant helmet-to-helmet hits. There were a couple of fines off of last week's. That not deemed as flagrant enough to eject, but it keeps the drive alive.
Hey, Mike, I'm all for protecting the quarterback and protecting the players. That was a little bit ticky-tacky. It appeared to me that Harrelson came in and pulled off.
First and goal from the 6. Hasselbeck to Morris, couldn't get to him. That was incomplete as he was getting flushed out of his throwing spot. I agree with you, but it was helmet-to-helmet by definition.
Take a look at it right here. You see, he pulls off, he stops. We've seen, I mean, You know,
but he hits him in the head, George.
Well,
his helmet almost flies off.
Matt does a heck of a job. He could be a Hollywood actor on that play. I believe, which is good, by the way. I believe Harrelson tried to pull off, and there was some contact. This is football. You know, the guy's running with a 12-yard running start.
Helmet to helmet is a flag, period. I understand your point. 10 passes on this opening drive, the most since Holmgren came here to Seattle. So he's really gone extra. And Hasselbeck takes a timeout and beats the play clock. I'm going to helmet on you, Jaws.
It was
Stay over there.
Face mask.
NASN Trivia Timeout. In 1984, what NFL Hall of Fame quarterback became the league's first 5,000-yard passer? Stay tuned. The answer is coming up.
For Wilson NFL and GST footballs and much more, visit NASN.com, your home for North American sports merchandise.
By virtue of their home victory over Detroit, Arizona at 4-5 knows if San Francisco can win here, they're tied for the division, and we have 3 teams within a game. St. Louis getting off the schneid, beating New Orleans yesterday in New Orleans.
Well, when the Rams are healthy offensively, they are explosive.
In the NFL this season, 12 pass plays is the most on an opening drive this season. Brady of the Patriots at Dallas. A run with Morris here. Right to the goal line, but not in. Maurice Morris is a half-yard shy after 10 pass plays. That's just the second run called by Holmgren, and it's 3rd and goal. Maurice Morris, 6th year out of Oregon, has essentially been Sean Alexander's backup most of the way, except starting half the season last year. 6 games, essentially, 604 yards when Alexander was banged up with the foot injury a year ago.
He's been kind of that specialty back, used in nickel situations, and been very effective doing that.
3rd and goal. They'll throw to Will Heller. Touchdown, Seattle.
This is the kind of dominating drive that Seattle has waited for, you know, in part of 2 years now. They look like a team that should dominate this division. I know, George, you think that St. Louis is good when they have their pieces there, but it's a terrible, terrible division, and Seattle should dominate it, and that is what they should do to a division rival.
Don't lay the Rams on me. They're 1-8. I just said they have an outstanding offense when they're healthy.
That's what people wait for.
This is the way the Seahawks need to play football. The fast, up-paced tempo, throwing the football, because you have an outstanding tactician like Matt Hasselbeck.
And give Mike Holmgren this. Mike Holmgren said he was going to pass, and he wasn't kidding around. He passed it down the field.
I love it.
From the people who brought you College Game Day and the worldwide leader in sports comes the biggest thing to hit college football in years, College Football Live. A new way to get your fix every weekday with breaking news, exclusive interviews, and packed full of previews and predictions. Get ahead of the game every weekday with College Football Live on NASN.
There are 380,000 NCAA student athletes. And most of us will go pro.
Most of us will go pro in something other than sports.
In something other than sports. Go to ncaastudent.org to find out how.
Seattle scores first 13 plays, 11 of them passes to 5 different receivers, and Will Heller who caught 2 balls on the drive, has 7 receptions on the year, 3 of them touchdowns. The Seahawks trying to shake out of their first half of the season slumber at 4-4 with an easy slate the second half of the season, to be honest. Make a statement to Mike Nolan's team early, leading 7-0. Maurice Hicks back to take the kickoff from Josh Brown. It's short, and Hicks takes it from the 9, fakes the reverse to Michael Robinson, and it's brought down to the 26-yard line by C.J. Wallace. Jaws, show me what you saw this week in film watching Alex Smith and in the first drive tonight.
Mike, I saw it in tape study this week, and I saw it on Alex's second throw of the game. The lock left leg. You see that leg lock, it stops your forward motion and it drives your shoulders up. Consequently, you get a high throw. It's a mechanical flaw that must be corrected by Alex Smith to be a consistently accurate NFL quarterback. They've got to continue to work with him or he will struggle with throws like that.
From the 27, Frank Gore. Gain of a yard. Deion Grant leading the tackle pile. And here's Alex to introduce us to the rest of this 49ers struggling offense.
Key to the offense tonight starts up front with the O-line. At left guard, we have Hall of Famer Larry Allen. At center, directing traffic, Eric Heitman. And at right tackle, the rook, Joe Staley. Moving on to the backs, we have from the U, Frank Gore. And outside tonight, we have D-Jack, Arnaz Battle, and banging around at tight end, the Turk, Vernon Davis.
The guys in front of Alex, Jonas Jennings on IR with an ankle injury. Justin Smiley, starting guard, season-ending shoulder injury. Smith's throw, tough to catch, but brought in by Delaney Walker. Walker slow to get up over the 31-yard line, a gain of about 4 yards. What has been the problem with San Francisco on offense? Personnel, new coordinators, and the result, everything. They score the fewest points in the league, gain the fewest yards, pick up the fewest third downs, and have the ball as little as anybody.
There is a word for that in the English language to describe their offense. It is inert at the moment.
You saw Walker limp off. Ashley Lilly comes in as the third receiver against the nickel. 3rd and 7. Pressure, Smith has the ball knocked out of his hands by Patrick Kearney. And Seattle has recovered.
Talk about a bad start by San Francisco. They go for all of it on the first pass, Jaws, right? Miss that. You have to give up the ball. Now it's knocked out of Alex Smith's hands. Jaws, it's tough to be the overall number 1.
You see Patrick Kearney right there coming off the right side of the Seahawks defense, unblocked at Alex Smith. I mean, this is just a great play by Kearney. Not only goes for the sack, but goes for the strip of the football.
Kearney, who came over from Atlanta as a free agent, 6-year, $40 million deal. Hasn't had the huge impact yet, but a big play there. Gives Seattle the ball in great field position. Hasselbeck is blitzed, puts it up top. Incomplete, just getting rid of it as the pressure came from Mark Roman. And we mentioned right before that the changes on the offensive front for Alex Smith. You're starting tonight a new guard and a new offensive tackle. Adam Snyder and David Boss have played a little bit, but this is their first time together as starters. The unit changes. You got to make sure you're ready for it.
And the problems are when you're going through constant change in the offensive line. When you play a team like the Seahawks, John Marshall, their defense coordinator, loves to change up his looks, keeps giving you different looks, and mistakes will be made. It was a mistake by the 49ers that last drive.
Another pass, 13th attempt of the quarter to Burleson. 8 yards shy of the first down. Here's Susie Coleman.
You know, Mike, you showed all those 49er stats. Just talking to Mike Nolan before the game, he said, something is missing and we just can't figure out what it is. And we're looking for a catalyst to turn the corner, whether it's the head coach, the quarterback, the running back, the defense. He said they're in the what the heck is going on stage. Usually things get better after that. But just watching this team on the sideline, the last time they were on defense, players are out of the coaching box and coaches are yelling at them. And then coaches are yelling at each other and everyone's all over each other after the series.
Morris runs for the first down, Susie, just shy of the 10-yard line. Isaac Sopoaga makes the tackle. On either side of the ball, this is not a team with a lot of veteran winners guys who've experienced success, and the defensive guys are the one who now have to kind of stop the flood from the Seahawks.
You know, and locker room leadership is so important, Mike. You talked about it's a very young offensive team. You know, Bryant Young, really the only guy walking around that Super Bowl ring on the defensive side, and there's really no one to grab the guys by the shirt collar, shake him a little bit and say, let's go, we got to get it turned around. They lack that leadership.